On May 30, 2016, a hand-shaped sculpture appeared in front of Hanjik University, one of the known art schools in South Korea. It quickly faced a strong backlash across the net for supporting an anonymous internet community named Ilbe. The artwork was modeled after a hand gesture that is used by members of the Elb community, which were used when community users certify of them using the website. Why is the sculpture and the hand shape itself so controversial? The online community Ilbe is notorious for its extreme right-wing views and favoring male dominance and female objectification along with misogynic perspective. Members do not openly mention that they are users of the community because of the fame for the users' sexism, racism, and regional discrimination and political bias. They have spread rumors toward celebrities and politicians, made fun of numerous bereaved people of the Sewol ferry sinking incident. A tragic accident happened in Korea. Due to their hateful behavior, they have been taboo subjects by causing people's anger. The artwork was titled Nowhere Yet Everywhere and intended to portray the existence of Ilbe, which is exceedingly predominant on the internet but quite the contrary in real life. The artwork was part of a school assignment for a Hanjik University senior, Hong Ji-ha. After 2 days of installation, the sculpture was destroyed by 3 passengers at midnight. Although the piece was controversial, act of dismantle without agreement of sculptor was highly criticized. The issue was debated on 2 sides, which on one side that freedom of expression should be kept, while the other side argued display of socially inappropriate work should be limited. Passers-by who were positive to destruction agreed in destruction because they had emotion of hatred against Ilbe. In addition, many of these group were the students of Hanjik University. The display of the sculpture raised argument and led to the damage to the school's fame. The emotion of embarrassment as a student had encouraged them to agree on destruction. Yet while they did criticize the artist and his work, but refused to take an action, remaining as a third party. This was because they considered law crucial than their personal discontentment. The reason they remained as a critic, not a disruptor, was because they knew that destructing of artwork without permission is illegal. On the same note, passers-by who were negative to destruction shared a common knowledge and emotion. These group valued freedom of expression than their displeasure. According to Lee McIntyre's post-truth, the truth can be buried with a pile of bullshit, which feelings are considered as a greater matter than the actual truth. Focusing on the feelings, the statue and its shape had been considered carrying a political meaning. Connections between the community's hateful acts and the object itself has caused the crowd's anger. While it can't be necessarily said that truth is buried with bullshit since it is true that the shape is used to represent the community and its people, it is clearly seen that the action of vandalizing the figure has come from the feeling of anger. Furthermore, the connection of emotion and reason is effective under several theories. The spiral of silence theory states that the minority opinion, or the opinion contradicting to the major, is kept quiet when it is placed in a situation of which a certain majority number of people follows a significant idea. This eventually leads to a greater effectiveness of one significant opinion from the majority. Another theory that correlates to the behavior of stakeholders is theory of reasoned action. This theory suggests that as attitude towards act or behavior interacts with subjective norm, the behavioral intention is made which eventually encourages one to do a certain behavior. Considering that the truth is a set of agreements, it is a social consensus which constrained by conditions of reality. While the hand symbol and the statue itself is not necessarily a representation of hateful activities done by the Ilbe community, due to social consensus and belief the statue was considered disgusting and hateful. On this manner, the disgusting look that the statue seems to carry is a compulsory truth which was considered to be true in a Korean dominating discourse. Schudson mentioned that reality does not necessarily limit our imaginations or our wishes, but it constrains our theorizing about what the real world is. Despite what symbolic meaning the statue carried, the issue became a political issue across the country. According to the artist, Gi-ha Hong's interview with MBC, His intention was to open up a debate on ilbay. By showing that ilbay is prevalent in the society but actually intangible. He thought resolution of closed areas such as ilbay should be discussed through debates and arguments, which he provided the chance. As a senior student in carving class, he felt responsible in publicizing his own thoughts in his way of art. The common consensus of all citizens shall enjoy freedom of learning and the arts met this and encouraged him to act, to create a sculpture. While Kiha Hong claimed his freedom of expression in art, Destroyer, who introduced himself as rapper Sunken, counterclaims his argument. There are several emotional factors that made him choose an extreme, violent act. According to the spiral of silence theory, when a majority supported the significant opinion that the ilbay sculpture leads to a public disorder, all other opinions were altered through emotion. This led to a drastic behavior of one perceiving ilbay sculpture causing public disorder, as a fact, eventually vandalizing the ilbay sculpture. He noted that he wanted to immediately change the appearance of sculpture. He emphasized the duplicity of ilbay users by vandalizing intact, spotless piece into broken, unattractive work. He wanted to show that although ilbay users tend to bluff and exaggerate on online, they are actually unseemly, tacky, and indecent. The article, Reverse Engineering Censorship in China, explains how the Chinese government regulates the public through various medium. While the manual and automatic process filters the media content that stands against the Chinese government ideology, it can be said that this case shows public judgment of censorship toward the physical sculpture. This is also closely related to the concept of freedom of expression and also the freedom to express negative opinions to the expression. While Korean government, despite numerous requests and voices to regulate or destroy the ilbay community itself, has not constrained the community due to freedom of expression rights. Democracy has been a hot topic since Korean citizens achieved it through democratization movement at 1980, which any movements from government that seems to regulate someone's freedom rights or privacy has been highly criticized. It can be seen as with real-life difficulties to attack the community, which is the ultimate problem. The anger has been shown through vandalizing its representative figure. The Constitution of South Korea states that art cannot be justified and can be restricted if it threatens the public welfare. Based on the critical crowd reaction, personal emotion and knowledge based on intimate experience irresistibly intervene in the perception, so I would say that complete neutral knowledge or a complete truth cannot exist. Both groups of passers-by had disagreed to the destruction because their personal knowledge, emotion and reason participated on the perception of interpretation of new truth. The interaction of personal and shared perception provides behavioral intention to one and leads to action. These interactions include circumstances of conflict and correspondence. This personal opinion is constructed through mainly emotion and reason, which also provides the reason why neutral knowledge cannot exist. As long as it is kept as personal, it may not have great effectiveness to society or contributing in the shared knowledge. However, the interaction with shared consensus drags the one to actually act out from the private zone, allowing it to have influence to a new knowledge to much greater extent.